Tears.
Here we go as Sechrist delivers, and the first pitch swung on and sent into center by Daniels. Brock Daniels starting the game the right way for the Tigers, who are trying to avoid the sweep today. Leadoff single on the first pitch. And here is the Bush's baked beans batting order. It'll be Trevor Austin to hit next. He's 3 for 6 in the series with a 2-run home run last night. Mateo Cerna behind the plate. Garcia, Corona moving up in the batting order. Thomas, Curry, the DH, Pierre, Culbertson, and Jackson Lovich rounding it out.
Yeah, Trevor Austin has really been the bright spot. Yeah, sorry, Clay. He has been the bright spot for Missouri this weekend so far. He obviously got that home run by Corona on Thursday night, but Austin has been there both games with, like you saw, 3 hits and the big home run yesterday.
And he has reached in 15 of 16 games in the month of April. That pitch is in there for a strike. The home plate umpire today is Tyler Simpson. It's a very young Missouri roster. Trevor Austin, one of the exceptions, has been giving them much needed veteran leadership throughout the season. And he is the only Tiger who has started every game this year. There's Kerrick Jackson, the first-year head coach, and Tim Jamison on his left. Pitches outside, throw going down to second, and not in time. Stolen base for Brock Daniels. Cal Stark's got a good arm, Lance, but Daniels got a good jump.
Yeah, got a good jump, good throw. Everything was there. It looked like it might have been out if Christian Moore was able to hold on to the ball. But I like the aggressiveness by Coach Jackson and the Tigers trying to take it to Tennessee. That's one of those things, like if you get out there and try to score first and all of a sudden you let that Tennessee offense take off, then you're playing from behind. So I like the aggressiveness early.
That's the first stolen base attempt for either team this weekend. Daniels with his ninth stolen base.
This is one of the parks you really don't want to give away outs on the base paths, because you're one good swing of the bat from having a multiple run home run if you got guys on base.
Austin 10 homers, 29 runs batted in, trying to get Missouri in front. And that one's fouled off as Daniels was off with the pitch. So Missouri here, Lance, aggressive early. I mean, they've been playing from behind all weekend, and Kerrick Jackson determined to get out in front here today on this Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like the trying to steal third base with nobody out, and you're giving yourself a chance. But if you feel like you got the best jump, and I think that's what Daniel's doing, he's trying to get that read.
3-2 comebacker takes the glove off of Sechrist. Coming around to score is Daniels. And it's an RBI single for Trevor Austin, and Missouri jumps out in front here in the first. That was a shot.
Yeah, ball just out over the zone. You see up. Almost tries to barehand that with the pitching hand, something you don't want to do as a pitcher, but a heck of a job by Austin, because it looked like that ball was away, almost even off the plate, goes out and gets it, and you're right, Clay, gets Missouri on the board.
Tony Vitello heads back to the dugout. He is content that Sechrist is going to be all right. They did get Nate Snead up in the bullpen, and he is actually still loosening up. All right, here's Mateo Cerna with a man on and a run already in for Missouri. Cerna rips it foul. This freshman has been swinging it well. He's a switch hitter. Getting the start behind the plate today. He was the DH the first 2 games of the series. 2 for 4 on Thursday, 1 for 3 on Friday night.
You can already tell the approach is swing early, swing often against Xander Sechrest. He throws the fastball in the strike zone early. They're swinging.
Missouri in last place in the SEC East at 6-14, but very much alive for an SEC tournament berth, and that's their goal right now. As Austin leads away from first, the 1-1 is going to spin back out of play. I mean, Missouri, Lance, hasn't been bad in the month of April. You know, before running into the buzzsaw that is Tennessee here the last couple of days. I mean, they had won 9 of their 14 games in the month and 5 of their 9 SEC games before coming to Knoxville. And that included a sweep of Florida.
Yeah, Tennessee is not the team you want to be running into right now after what they dropped the first series against Alabama, opening weekend of conference play, and then have been on a roll ever since, especially last weekend getting that big series win over Kentucky. And so this is a team that can, no matter how good you are, how good you feel, they can put you into a slump.
1-2 pitch, and struck him out. 89 miles per hour. Cerna, little off time. Strikeout number 1, first out of the inning.
Yeah, gets a little fastball chase right at the belt. That's one of the things when you get guys aggressively swinging, you can use that aggressiveness, kind of expand the zone a little bit, and that's exactly what Sechrest does, and gets that big first out.
Matt Garcia, the starting second baseman, 1 for 8 in the series as the first pitch is outside. Runner goes. This throw is in time. Cal Stark, a terrific defender. One of the best in the SEC. Gave up a stolen base earlier to Brock Daniels and makes up for it here.
That was a heck of a throw. And look at Christian Moore come sliding in. Had to stop his feet that way. Just does a nice slide. Good to throw in. I mean, he is out by a mile on that throw.
2 down now. Garcia tees off. Fly ball to center. That's where Hunter Ensley is playing again today. Despite not hitting any home runs. He had a great start from Drew Beam, and 3 runs was enough. So here's Christian Moore. 4 for 7 in the series with a home run. He did that in his first at bat on Thursday night.
Yeah, he starts him off with a 85-mile-an-hour cutter, and I like that pitch because you're thinking a guy like Christian Moore, who is really intimidating as a leadoff hitter, wants to go up there swinging, and you throw him a little cutter thinking, hey, go out there and swing and try to get off the end of that bat.
The reigning SEC and National Player of the Week was 9 for 15 with 4 homers and 9 ribbies at Kentucky last week. Soft liner, and that is going to get off the glove of Culbertson. So Tennessee has the leadoff man on in the first as well.
It was almost a really good play by Culbertson. Just those soft liners right off the tip of his glove. But again, you're talking a lineup that just thrives when Christian Moore is on base, and he has done that so often as of late.
We have seen him crush so many balls here in the last few weeks. That one, nothing special, but that's his 5th hit of the weekend. And now Burke comes up with a man on, and Blake Burke is trying to get back on stride. He is 0 for 9. Came into the series on a 31-game hitting streak, the longest in program history. Well, that was extinguished on Thursday night. Despite hitting the ball hard a couple of times, he lined out, but had nothing to show for it. Moore at first, the 0-1 pitch. That's down and in. A ball and a strike to Blake Burke, who did have an RBI ground out last night, and as it happens, turned out to be the game-winning run.
It just shows you how hard baseball is, right? You're coming as hot as you can be in a 31-game hit streak, like you just mentioned, the best hit streak in ball history, and then all of a sudden now you're 0 for 9.
Now he's
Not
back
now.
in the saddle. There you go. Out to right field, Blake Burke. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Here come the Volunteers.
When you've been that hot, all of a sudden 0 for 9 little streak feels like it's probably been forever since he's been on base, but fastball just up in the zone. Burke jumps all over it. And when these two guys get the lineup going, and it allows everybody else to just relax a little bit, go out there and do their part.
I mean, before this series, Burke had only gone hitless in 2 games. Going hitless in 2 straight games, Burke was itching for a line drive like that. Now Amick. Off speed pitch upstairs. Cuts right through it. The Batesburg, South Carolina native coming over from Clemson. One of the biggest gets in this offseason for any of the teams in the SEC out of the portal. Lance is a former pitcher. I got to ask you, Carter Rustad, he's asked to get on the mound today. Javen Pimentel was the expected starter, but he's under the weather. And then you got to face these guys. This one's popped up. See that Amick just missed it. Shortstop Culbertson has it measured, and he's got it. So what's the approach for Rustad? Yeah, you know, you got a pretty good scouting report on Tennessee. Obviously, he's been watching these guys the last couple of games, but this is not an easy lineup to go into cold.
But no, going into today's play, I think Rustad knew he would be an arm that would be in the game, just obviously not starting the game. And so it's the same approach. I mean, he's done both, so he knows how to just attack a lineup and not try to, you know, he's not an all max effort guy. So you can see him out there. He's just going to pitch his game. And I like he's trying to use that cutter. You saw one to Amick that was swung up and missed. Wasn't a good one, but the next one to Amick was really good, even though he didn't get the call.
Kavares Tears, 1 for 7 in the series. Had a single on Thursday night. Comes into the day with a .368 average. That's good for 10th in the league. This is a good-looking player. Sophomore out of Lewisburg, Tennessee. One of the 5 players in this Tennessee lineup with at least 14 homers. 2-0 pitch. Good cut. Fouls it off. We'll see what Tears did last year. Decent season, but now as an everyday player, he is really breaking out in his sophomore campaign. Two balls and a strike. Carter Rustad. Long look, and now he's going to spin and throw over to second base.
I like that move right there. Just one of those things where it's tough with the pitch clock. You can't just step off. And so as a pitcher, you're taught you have to have conviction when you're about to throw that pitch. And so 2-1, no one with 2 guys on base. This is a big pitch. So I like how Carter Rustad just did that little easy move. Get your mind right again.
Moore at second, Burke at first. And now the count is even. We were talking with Tony Vitello this week about Kavares Tears, and he likens him to Jared Dickey, who was second team all SEC last year for the Vols. The way they approach the game, kind of player that they both are. Line drive, and that's going to get into right field for a base hit. We'll see if Moore comes. No, they're going to hold him up. The throw gets away. Now he will come home. A mistake for Missouri leads to a run. And we're tied.
Boy, Clay, this is a tough play. Jackson Lovich, the ball is hit so hard off of Tears' bat. He feels like he could get him out at first base, and so just a wild throw, just really quick off the turf. But I don't think Corona was really ready for it. He was going to be the cutoff man going home. or maybe the throw just kind of pulled him to first base. But yeah, again, the big error cost him a run, and all of a sudden has two guys in the scoring position with only one out still.
First error of the weekend for Missouri. And you can't give Tennessee extra chances, extra opportunities. That mistake leads to a run. As Dylan Dreiling comes up, another sophomore, also having a breakout year. 0 for 2 Thursday, 1 for 3 in last night's ballgame. Team high 48 runs batted in. Waved at that one, 2 strikes.
You got to think, Clay, how easy is it to hit? I mean, again, not easy to hit, but how, I guess, fun to be in the 5 slot in this Tennessee lineup when you got the 4 guys in front of you all hitting above 359, and so they're on base all the time. That's why you see the 48 RBI, but he's at the point where you're like, man, they've gone through 4 hitters, and now you're like, okay, I'm at this guy. You've had to really focus on those first 4 and not really miss a pitch. You know, a lot of pitchers probably think they can start relaxing, but nice job by Rousseff right there not to, and he gets that big punch out when he needs it.
So Dreiling goes down on strikes. First strikeout for Rousseff. And Dean Curley will hit next. Freshman had 2 hits in last night's ballgame. Has emerged as this year's starting shortstop in the SEC in his rookie year. Pretty impressive. You have Burke at third. Tears at second base. Hit on the ground sharply, and that's going to get into left field. 1 run is in. Tears will score. A 2-run base hit for Dean Curley, and Tennessee now has its first lead of the day. It's 3-1.
Boy, he tries to go in on the fastball, and I thought he got it in enough, but shows you how strong and how quick his hands from Dean Curley gets it in there. Yes, yeah, the ball's right where Cerno wants it, but a great jump too by Tears. Great secondary, and easily scores from second base with 2 outs, and now the ball's again down 1. Offense picks him right back up.
RBIs 32 and 33 for Curley. And now center fielder Ensley as the runner goes. Here's the throw, and that's not there in time. Stolen base, Dean Curley. Boy, we didn't see any stolen bases the first 2 games. And now both teams running it. Very aggressive here in the first inning. 1 ball and no strikes to Ensley. Hitting in the 7th spot. Another hard hit ball skips right into the glove of Culbertson, and that's going to end the inning. But Tennessee answers back out.
Yeah, I like how just the part, when you look, just kind of track his career, he's gone from assistant coach at multiple levels. Now he's been the head coach at a not like a mid-major in Memphis and then a Power 5 in the SEC, but he's also been a scout. He's also been a player agent with Scott Boras. He's also been the president of the MLB Draft League. So all those types of things really bring in a lot of baseball knowledge, but experience at all levels, at all types of the games. And so I really feel like as a player, when you want to talk about learning from somebody, Coach Jackson has got to be one of the best just because of what he's gotten to do.
He moves Danny Corona into the number 5 spot for this game. Corona has finally found some life in his bat. Those 2 homers have both come this week. He had one Tuesday against Missouri State and then hit a home run on Thursday night after hitting 13 at Wake Forest a season ago, including 3 in the region. I mean, he was a big part of helping get Wake Forest to Omaha last year.
Yeah, I really feel like Missouri thought that he would be that type of hitter, and that's what they expected. And so seeing the numbers being so far down I don't know if that's a part where Corona maybe put a lot of pressure on himself to kind of come in and be the guy and show everybody, hey, this is why you brought me here. But now he seems like he's starting to kind of get those numbers, kind of going in the right direction.
3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Xander Sechrist, his second strikeout.
Yeah, beautiful slider just on the outside part of the plate, just out in front, just enough. Not a big breaker, but just enough, and slows the speed down. You see, man, as that head and those shoulders start to go, it'll be tough to put in play.
This is going to be our first look at Thomas Curry on the weekend, freshman catcher from Wisconsin, getting a start as the designated hitter. That's where he's mostly seen his action this year. He's got 4 home runs on the year, homered in each of the first 2 SEC series against Arkansas and Kentucky, but hasn't driven in a run in over a month. So Kerrick Jackson hoping that he can make an impact today. It's down for Sechrist, 1-2.
Well, Clay, you talked about, the rebuilding job he was going to have to do. I mean, 20 new guys have made their Missouri debuts, but what he's done is he's really played a lot of guys. He's got 12 guys with 80 plate appearances, so he's giving opportunities to multiple players.
Burke's got it. As Curry pops out to first, 2 down here in the second, and Caden Peer, another freshman, will hit now for Missouri. Yeah, I mean, there have been games where Jackson has started as many as 5 freshmen.
Yeah, that's tough, especially in this league. Freshmen playing in college baseball is tough, but when you go to the best league in the country and just overall, I think college has gotten older and more experienced. And so these young guys, when they come in, you're talking 18, 19-year-old players trying to play against some guys that are 23 years old. And so that's all of a sudden grown men playing against just, kids kind of coming out of high school. But that's what makes it even more impressive with Dean Curley, freshmen that step up and all of a sudden have the numbers that they have. But still, I like the way that Coach Jackson's doing it, though. Get the young guys in there, get them playing early.
Says the guy who played a ton at Alabama as a freshman. It is hard, though, to play as a rookie, especially in this league.
Well, it's different. I mean, nowadays with travel ball, guys are experiencing higher level play at such a young age. We didn't have that, so it was definitely a shock the moment you get on campus and you're like, whoa, these guys are a lot bigger, a lot stronger than they were in high school.
Yeah, 1-2-3 inning on Rockytown. His team's got a 2-run lead as they hit the bottom of the second inning. First pitch swinging is Reese Chapman, the DH. Lofts it into foul ground. Feeling his way around there is Austin, but he's going to run out of room. Tony Vitello, another coach who had a lot of experience as an assistant before getting his first big opportunity as a head coach. And man, he has really taken the ball and run with it.
Yeah, it really has, and it's just turned this Tennessee program around and become one of the places where not only just the southeast area, you got guys coming from, California, all over the country and wanting to play for Coach Vitello.
Nice base hit there for Chapman. Works right around the shift. And the leadoff man is on for Tennessee for the second straight inning. And Vitello will tell you that he owes a lot to a guy who's in the other dugout today, Tim Jamison. Jamison gave him his first opportunity to be an assistant coach. And for a long time, he was Tim Jamison's pitching coach at Mizzou.
Yeah, one of the best parts about the story was when he said, he goes, all right, I'll give you a day-to-day contract. And so he's like, what do you mean? He goes, well, each day you do your work, and if it's all good, you're going to stay. You get to come back the next day until you get tapped on the shoulder. And, that thought process behind that is you get tapped on the shoulder when you're in the big leagues, and the coach, come up there, or the pitching coach or the manager be like, hey, we need to see you in the office. And he said, I never got that tap on the shoulder, and he just kept going up the ranks and eventually got his opportunity at Tennessee and hasn't looked back.
Ball on a strike to Cal Stark in the 9 spot. Stark's had a good series. 1 for 3 on Thursday with a 3-run homer and 1 for 3 with a double off the top of the wall in right center last night. It's interesting. Jameson, a very good pitching coach. That's why Kerrick Jackson wanted him when he got the job. But when Vitello was working for Jameson at Mizzou, he was the pitching coach and helped them get to 7 regionals. And now Tony Vitello will tell you he's got the best pitching coach in the country in Frank Anderson. It's been a really good series for Stark. We've talked about his production at the plate, and he's also been very good defensively. Threw out a runner in the first inning trying to steal. 2-2 pitch. Fought it off to stay alive.
Yeah, Rustad's really working the inside part of the plate. He tried last inning, and I thought he made the pitch, but he still gave up the base hit off of Curley. But still, he's trying to establish it in, and that's going to be huge for him because it'll open up the outside part of the plate.
Chapman away from first, doesn't have a stolen base on the year. Time is called. And Tyler Simpson, our home plate umpire. Jeremy Dupree at third. Seth Buckminster at second. And Cedric Coleman is our first base umpire today. 1 on, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch to Stark. Maybe. There it is. Breaking ball just missed high. Full count, and Rustad wants to know where that one was.
I think he's got an argument too, because that ball looked like it was in the zone. If anything, might have been away, but I still don't think it was away.
And now time is called. Now we've got a problem here again.
But that's twice that Stark has said something to the home plate umpire. Rustad is just on the rubber ready to go, and they're supposed to wait till they look up.
Long set again. Hit well left field. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Daniels has it, makes the catch. That's the first out of the inning. We go back to the top of the order and Christian Moore.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1,
Christian Moore.
But they still pulled it out because they hit 4 of their own, 3 by Mr. Moore.
14 of his 20 homers have come against the SEC. That's more than any player in this league. That's what's really impressive. I mean, against the best competition, he's doing the most damage.
Yeah, I agree. And the average is 420. It's 37 hits in 20 games. So it's almost 2 hits per game in, when it matters the most in conference play, like you just said, against the best athletes and best baseball players in the country. I mean, there's an argument there. Obviously, player of the week this week, but there's an argument for player of the year. If Charlie Condon, he might be your leader, Christian Moore, if Charlie Condon wasn't having the all-time career year that he's having right now for Georgia.
Yeah, Charlie Condon hit his 27th for Georgia yesterday in that loss at A&M. Soft liner to center that's going to get down. Second hit for Christian Moore. Neither one blistered, but he's 2 for 2. And they're 2 on with 1 out for Blake Burke.
Now batting the first baseman, number 25, Blake Burke.
Yeah, I saw something with the Condon homer. Texas A&M had 4 outfielders thinking they could make a play, and he said, never mind, I'll just hit it over the scoreboard.
And the Aggies won last night 5-2. They're going to play a doubleheader today in College Station because rain is expected in Texas tomorrow, so they moved up game 3. Burke a base hit and a run scored in the first inning. Hoping to start a long hitting streak again after that 31-game streak ended on Thursday night. The 0-1 back over the mound. Well played by Culbertson. Steps on the bag for one, and then Xander Sechrist gave up base hits back-to-back to start the game, but he has retired 5 straight.
Well, he's had to start pitching a little backwards, going with the breaking ball early, because I mentioned it was almost like both teams knew it was getaway day. Swinging early, swinging often the fastball, and he left the fastball in the middle of the plate, and he got a couple hits early, but now he's mixing in the breaking ball. And a lot of times when that happens, you start to feel the rhythm and the mechanics, and then now instead of the fastball being in the middle part of the plate, it starts to go toward those corners where you're going to get those outs.
Drew Culbertson, a freshman, has been their everyday shortstop. 0 for 8 in this series. A couple of weeks ago had a 5 for 11 series at Georgia, but then went 0 for 10 last week against LSU. It's kind of the story of a freshman trying to find his way in the SEC. Some ups and downs. The 3-1 pitch. And now full count. And Kerrick Jackson kind of knew this is the way it was going to be. You know, probably going to lose some games starting all these rookies, but trying to build a culture. And that missed off the plate as Culbertson draws a walk to start. He's got 9 stolen bases on the year. Jackson Lovich will try to move him around. Lovich in right field again. 1 for 8 in the series. Excuse me, 2 for 8. That walk, Lance, that Sechrist just surrendered. Just the 7th walk this year in 37 plus. He's not walked more than 1 in any appearance this season.
You got to throw the ball over the plate to be successful. It's the main thing. You know, everybody talks about what's the best pitch you have, and the best pitch you have is a strike. Whatever pitch you can throw for a strike, that's the one you want to keep doing.
The 0-1 pitch to the number 9 hitter. Sechrist is going to throw over again. Missouri got a run right away in the first inning. Back-to-back hits by Daniels and Austin. Popped up, and that's a gift for the Volunteers. They'll take it. Lovich trying to move Culbertson, and he pops out.
Now batting the left fielder, number 5.
You know, Clay, it looked like he stabbed at it right at the last second, and once you started to stab at it, got the bottom of the ball, and you're right, gave a gift to Tennessee. Blake Burke easily gets there, and this is what you see. It's the coach when you come to the dugout, the coach explaining, talking about it, showing you, hey, you're trying to push it. I mean, there's every moment's a teaching moment, especially when you have a bunch of young guys out there. And again, like you mentioned, trying to build that culture of how to win.
And you can see the patience there of Kerrick Jackson. It's not a rip fest. It's just a very measured approach with his young guys.
Well, I think for me, when coaches do that, right, there's a great way to do it. And like you said, it was just an under control, because Jackson Lovich knows he messed up. He messed the bunt up. He knows that. You don't have to go in there and the coach rip you a new one. And so Coach Jackson just kind of just showing him, hey, this is what you got to do. These are the things that happen. to me, that resonates more into a player's mind, especially in the middle of a game.
Brock Daniels is 1 for 1, a base hit and a run scored in the first. You know what I see when I see those two guys standing next to each other? You know, Jackson and Jameson. It just two very guys who are comfortable in their own skin. There's no ego between either one of those guys. Snap throw to first, close play. Diving back is Culbertson in there safely. Man,
Yeah,
Cal
heck
Stark
of a
has been
throw.
throwing the ball all over the field today.
Yeah, perfect pitch to throw on. He goes, and looks like he goes under the runner from the knees and makes a great throw, and just a little. If it's on the bag, he might have had a chance to be out. But Clay, you're right. What I see when you show those two coaches next to each other is just the ultimate respect for each other too, knowing that, hey, they need each other to help each other, and they almost think alike. And so that it allows you to almost have two of the same coaches where you don't have to do it all yourself. You can just truly trust that he's going to take care of what he needs to take care of.
And they know there are going to be some growing pains this year. They knew that back in the fall, actually. But they did not go into the portal much. They did not bring in a bunch of JUCOs. He wants to build this with freshmen and young players and build a culture. It's very admirable, especially in today's college baseball.
Absolutely, and it's hard to do because when you go out there, everybody's expecting to win, and I know he expects to win too, but you know that, like you said, growing pains are going to happen, and you're going to lose ball games where if maybe you got one or two guys from the portal, like you might have won those games, but allowing those young guys, those young freshmen, like you mentioned, possibly having 4 or 5 in the lineup at one time to really go through those growing pains and take their lumps, but have the success they have and really build on that.
I know they like the guy at the plate, Brock Daniels. Swung on. Out to right. And it's going to be caught. 2 down. Two outs, and here comes Trevor Austin, who's been the best offense for Missouri this weekend, Lance. And he's got an opportunity here again with a man on base as Missouri's down a couple of runs. He had an RBI single in the first. Swings at the first pitch, and he's a little disgusted with himself as he flies to center field to end it.
I mean, a pitching staff to have to kind of maneuver that lineup.
It'll be Amick followed by Tears and Dreiling. Six homers in the series for Tennessee, 121 on the season. That is the most in the country. As Amick uncorks to left and reaching up, making the catch is Brock Daniels. Boy, that was a tough play to make as that ball was hit right at him and rising toward the wall, but he snares it for the first
Now
out.
batting the right fielder, number 21, Tavares here.
Yeah, Clay, when that ball comes off the bat like that, he is hit so hard. A lot of times it'll start to knuckle, and that kind of looks like what happened to Brock Daniels. Couldn't tell what he wanted to do, but athletically enough to show that he could still make the play. And that's a huge out because he misses that. It's off the wall. It's a surefire double. We never know. Could be a triple. It's a heck of a play right there by Daniels.
They really like the freshman Brock Daniels. Should say sophomore Brock Daniels. Second season in the Missouri program after a redshirt year at Oklahoma. But he's a St. Louis kid, so back near home. Came out of St. John Vianney High School. Tears his first time up, RBI single, and then came around to score. Getting back to those home runs, Lance. Last night's game was just the third game this season that Tennessee didn't hit one over the wall. I mean, there's a good chance they're going to have a program record at the end of the campaign.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. 158, I think it is. So,
Right.
I mean, that's one of the things the reason Tennessee has become what it is under Coach Vitello is they've truly played to the park. I mean, it's a park that the ball flies, and so instead of trying to run away from it, they've run to it and found guys that can get the ball over the fence, and they've done that in the last 4 years better than anybody else in D1 baseball.
A lot of home runs. 5 players with double-digit homers this year. Full count to Tears. Fastball right down the middle and sliced that one foul. And of those 121 homers, 10 are grand slams. There was a grand slam opportunity that Tennessee couldn't cash in on Thursday night. If they'd have hit it, it would have set an SEC record. They're currently tied with LSU for the most grand slams in an SEC season. LSU hit 10 as well in '98. That seems like a record that is destined to fall too with as many games as Tennessee has left. Bases empty, 3-2 pitch. Again, whack foul. Boy, what an at-bat here for Kavares Tears against Carter Rustad, who wasn't expected to start this ball game. Jamin Pimental, the left-hander, was supposed to go, but he came down sick. This is going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat for Tears. Struck him out. Rustad puts a notch on his handle.
Now batting the left fielder, number 8,
This is how you stay in the zone right here. Continue to attack it. It was going belt high. It looked like he was trying to throw the cutter, and after he fouled off a couple up, he just says, hey, I'm going to run it back, show you what I got. 92, outer third, and gets it done.
Strikeout number 2 for Carter. Now he'll deal to Dreiling, who struck out against Rustad his first time up. And he's behind in the count here. Rustad pitched at San Diego in 2021. This is his 3rd year at Missouri. Only pitched 1 game last year because of injury. Grew up in Kansas City. Last night, Logan Lunsford was extremely efficient as the starter for Missouri. As you can see, Drew Beam. We're going to be talking with him coming up. We're going to be talking with Drew in a little bit here. Next inning, he was excellent on the mound. Outdueled Lunsford. Drew now 6-1 on the year for Tennessee. Struck him out again. And it's a team. Was excellent on the mound for the Vols last night. Got the win, and he joins us now from the dugout. Drew, based on what you've done up to this point this season, where does that start last night rank as far as your best work goes this year?
I'd say it's in my probably top 3. Didn't feel my best at the beginning, so it was good to settle in there at the end and find my groove and get deep into a ball game for the team.
Well, Drew, when that happens, when you don't feel your best and find the groove, how hard is that to do to stay mentally in there and then eventually find that groove?
It's just something you kind of learn. Being my 3rd year, I've been doing this for a little bit, so I've kind of found that the happy medium, how to find it back. But it also helps when Kavares Tears belts me out and makes a great double play. Cal Stark's back there making plays. So when you got defense out there, helping me out, it's a lot easier.
We've talked about Cal Stark and just how good he is behind the plate. What does that mean to you when you have a catcher that is so good receiving, but also can throw as good as he can?
It's awesome. It gives me a lot of confidence. He's a wall back there, and we have a really good relationship now. So he's kind of got a feel for what I want to throw, and so and he makes those amazing back picks and controls the running game really well. So it makes it a lot easier for me.
Mateo Cerna leading it off here for Missouri in the 4th inning. He's followed by Garcia and Corona. As Xander Sechrist has been working really efficiently here, Drew, since the first inning. Gave up the back-to-back hits to start the game. Missouri jumps out in front, but really he's been locking down these Tigers ever since.
Yeah, he's figured out his, I guess, what's working for him today. So it's been real fun to see. He's a crafty little guy, so it's fun to watch him pitch. It's a lot different than the starters we've had the last couple of years. Honestly, we've had a bunch of righties who get up there and just throw fuzz, and it's cool to see him work. But kind of back to that 21 team, we had some lefties in the rotation there, so it's fun to watch him work. And he's always he's a character. If you've been around him at all, you know that he's a delight to be around. So it's fun to watch him work and do his thing.
A crafty little guy, 6'2", 193. He's not exactly tiny. We won't tell him you said that, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's a bit good, good build and good structure. But we like to mess around with each other.
Wait, is he the little shenanigan he does right there, where he turns every single pitch? I mean, what kind of guy is Xander off the field and in the dugout?
Exactly that. I mean, he has this little things that he does. I wish that was a strike right there, but. He does all his little quirks and things. I mean, if you watch him from the second he gets to the field and then while he's in his game, while he's in the dugout, all that kind of stuff, there's always something he's doing. I mean, it's pretty down pat too. I mean, I think he does it. I've never seen him miss it, getting the gloves there.
Cerna hits it to center, medium deep. Circling back to get it is Ensley, and Cerna is 0 for 2, 1 down here in the 4th.
Yeah, so he'll probably do another little, I think he does a 2-hop right here or something. I don't know. It might be extra strikeouts. I don't know. He does something funny after every single time, I feel like. But he gets his thing going, and I don't know why he wears long sleeves if he rolls them up all the time, but that's his thing. So, he's just a funny guy.
Whatever you got to do to stay in rhythm, I guess.
Yeah.
I love how everybody knows. Everybody knows his routine. Even he does, but the other players do. So basically, Drew, you're saying he is a typical left-handed pitcher.
Absolutely. Yeah. The weirdos of the staff, but we love them and we need them, and they work great for us. So.
1 out for Matt Garcia, who flew out to center against Sechrist back in the 1st inning. We're talking with Drew Beam, who was the starter for Tennessee last night and the winning pitcher. Now 6-1 on the year. And then Kirby Connell and Aaron Combs came in last night and really slammed the door in the 8th and 9th inning after you gave up that home run that just crept over the wall, by the way. But you needed some guys to come in and have your back, and they did.
Yeah, Kirby, I've gave him a lot of praise. He's been in college for a little while, but he knows how things work, and there he is right there. All right. And but he knows the game, and he knows how his stuff works, and he's done really good of embracing the role. I think last year he had 30 appearances for the team, and this year he's thrown some longer outings, and he's really embraced the role that the coaches have put him in. And so it's been really good having him have my back and have other guys back and just compete. Being the older guy, he doesn't throw 95, but he gets guys out, and he's pretty good about it.
2-2 pitch here to Garcia, and popped up, and it's going to spin back out of play. You got Frank Anderson as your pitching coach. What a blessing that must be. I mean, that guy has got such a wealth of knowledge.
Indeed. I think we were trying to calculate it the other day, how many games he's coached as a pitching coach, and it was something around the 2,500 mark, if not more. So he's seen a lot of baseball. What was Danny? He's seen a lot of baseball and coached a lot of baseball. So he knows has quite the knowledge for the game, and he's definitely instilled that into a lot of our pitching staff, and he allows us to work and be us, but he's got that insight and helps us do a lot of things.
So Sechrist gets Garcia on the high heat, and now Danny Corona comes up with the bases empty and 2 outs.
But Drew, you mentioned the other pitchers that have come in having your back. How about the lineup having you guys back? What does it feel like to be able to pitch knowing that your lineup can do what it can do?
It's awesome. I mean, knowing that if I don't have my best stuff, that either the defense is going to have my back or they're going to go out there and hit a couple homers and put pressure on the other team. So it's great knowing that they're always out there swinging. You know, Billy comes in this year. Dean stepped up. Some new faces, some old. I've known Kavares for a long time, and he's been tearing it up. So it's good to see them, and they keep swinging it, and it makes it a lot easier to pitch when you know that they're going to put some runs up for you.
Well, Drew, I think we're going to let you go. I'm really impressed by the patience that you had here during this interview, and nobody coming up behind you and putting a pie in your face or anything. I really fully expected that.
Yeah, I was with you. I was expecting like a gum on the top of the head,
yeah,
or some seeds or something thrown at me. So I'm glad I made it out alive.
Yeah. So before your luck changes, we're going to say so long. Thanks very much for doing this for us, and continued success, my friend.
Absolutely, I appreciate y'all. Go Vols.
That's Drew Beam, win number 6 on the year last night, 6-1 now. As Thomas Curry is at the plate with Danny Corona at first base for Missouri. That is a real nice young man.
Yeah, you can see it's almost like they were doing the opposite. They were trying to stay as far away as they could from him. But yeah, I expected a lot of shenanigans from the dugout, especially up 2-1 already and going for the sweep. Now, a different story if you're down and everything, but they seem to always have fun, so I expected a lot. But he got away. He got the interview done. Nobody other than Mr. Kirby Cannell, which is probably the typical lefty, the way he goes about with the stash and everything.
Hit on the ground, should end the inning. And it does. Thomas Curry. Tonight, Lance Cormier, 11 strikeouts for the Hogs.
That's just who Hagen Smith is. He just keeps doing it and doing it. I mean, the lefty, it's a whippy arm. He stands on the left side of the rubber. The fastball is really good, up to 98, 99 miles an hour. The slider is just as good, if not even better. And he's developed into, I think, it's going to be one of the top probably 5 or 6 picks in the draft. And that's an awesome guy to run out there on a Friday night.
Dean Curley fouled it off his foot. Looks like he's going to be all right.
Yeah, I think Hagen Smith went over 300 career strikeouts in his last outing.
Ooh, right above the shin pad. You have to get a bigger one.
Double it up.
Carter Rustad has retired 4 straight. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning, but he has settled in. That pitch is high to Curley. It'll be Ensley and Chapman to follow. Kentucky at South Carolina tonight. Game 2 of that series. Kentucky has now lost 3 straight SEC games as they dropped game 1 last night 6-5. It was going to be interesting to see how the Wildcats responded after the disappointment against Tennessee last week. And so far, not the start that they were hoping for in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, had a tough one. Back and forth affair, going to extra innings. They scored in the extra innings, but South Carolina, they couldn't hold South Carolina off the scoreboard and get a walk-off victory. And you're right, though. Losing at home, then having to go on the road. Being on the road has been tough in the conference this year.
Sinking down and making the catch. Another great catch by Brock Daniels. That's 2 in a row for him.
Now batting the center fielder, number 9, Hunter Ensley.
Just another day in the office for Brock Daniels. At the one last inning over the shoulder on the track, this one coming in, almost handcuffs him. But shows you, look, I got it. At the last second, I think he thought he was going to have to dive and then realized I don't have to go that far, and just kept carrying a little bit, but still nice. Again, he's showing a lot of athleticism.
Sure is. This one's hit on the screws by Ensley toward the gap, right center, to the wall. Reaching up is Lovich, and he'll make the catch. With the outfield helping Rustad out here in the 4th inning, 2 down.
Now batting the designated hitter.
Definition of trust your defense, right? Throw strikes, let the ball get put in play, and let the other 8 guys, or I guess 7 guys behind you, make plays, and that's why they get scholarships as well. They're good on the defensive side of the ball, and already 2 really nice plays by his outfield.
2 outs, bases empty, and here's the DH, Reese Chapman, who singled his first time up. Chapman 0 for 1 on Thursday night. Did not play last night. Dalton Bargo was the DH. This is his 19th start, 32nd game. He's a corner outfielder, but they've used him quite a bit in this role. Fly ball, short left field. Culbertson and Austin communicating. It'll be Culbertson, PN2, on Sunday at Memorial Weekend. And right now, Missouri, one of those teams that is hoping to be in Hoover. There are 2 that will not make the cut. And you would call Missouri a bubble team right now. There's still a lot of season to go, as they're going to send Caden Pierre, Drew Culbertson, and Jackson Lovich 7, 8, 9 to the plate here in the 5th inning, down by 2, trying to salvage a game in this series. Lance, with it being year 1 for Kerrick Jackson, with it a young, impressionable group of players that he has, how important would it be to make the SEC tournament?
Extremely, because it gives you another week. And if you ask all the coaches, it's like going to a bowl game. You get extra practice. Same thing with going to the SEC tournament. But also, it gives those freshmen that are there and been thrown into the fire the opportunity to experience it, because it's a one-of-a-kind tournament where you're getting police escorts everywhere you go, as they can draw a leadoff walk, something that Seacrest doesn't do. We've seen that's his first start this year, first outing this year with multiple walks, but it gives you that experience of, it's really cool because, again, like I said, it's police escorts everywhere. You feel like it's as close to the big leagues. There's great crowds, and it's just one of the coolest experiences. And so to not get to do it would basically delay that, and so then the next time you go, it's like, all right, this is the first time. And you'd rather be, have these guys when they come back as sophomores already have that experience in the league, but they also have that same experience going to the tournament.
Feels a little bit like Omaha at times in Hoover.
I mean, you think about it. There's at one point you have as many teams as Omaha. When you're having 4 teams from the SEC make Omaha, those same 4 teams are in the SEC tournament. So it's as cool of a tournament. And when you talk about the amount of players, prospects that are going to get drafted, I think there's I talked to a scout last year. He had thought there was estimated of 120 scouts on the first couple days of the tournament that are there. So everywhere you look, there's scouts, because everywhere you look, there's the cream of the crop players.
Well, that'll be the goal over the next few weeks. Missouri will be in Columbia against South Carolina next weekend, and Auburn before closing out the regular season at Mississippi State.
It's one of the experiences, I think, that if you're a true baseball fan that just loves college baseball, you got to take a chance and go.
High 2 walks. Walk Pierre to start this inning. The guy at the plate walked back in the 3rd. That gets off the glove of Stark. He's able to track it down quickly. Snead, who was warming up earlier in this ball game when Seacrest took that comebacker off the hand, is back up again. Culbertson flashing the bunt. It's 3-1. Walked him too. Didn't miss by much, but it did. So Culbertson coaxes a walk for the 2nd straight at bat. Seeing Seacrest go another inning or 2, and it gets cut short after 4. 2 on, nobody out for Missouri. They've got the go-ahead run at the plate, and it's Jackson Lovich, who's got long ball potential for sure. 7 home runs on the year. He's batting in the 9 spot as he's still trying to come back from the injury he had earlier in the year. Here's a throw to second. They got the runner hung up. And Missouri walks into an out. That is a freshman mistake for Caden Pierce.
Right, Clay just walked himself out of what could be a big inning.
And that's going to be a strike to Lovich. Boy, an inning that was going south there for Tennessee quickly turns with the appearance of Nate Snead. He has brought new energy to the field for the Volunteers.
Hard not to bring energy when you throw 99 to 100.
This is down 2-2 at 100 miles an hour there. But it's an
And
easy 100.
Yeah, and it's got a little sink too. So they used to always preach. Coach Bergman, Skip Bergman, the longtime LSU coach, used to preach every inch of movement is like another 1 or 2 miles an hour. And so when you see these guys with the arm and the velocity that they have now, and that ball's running, it just, I mean, you can imagine how hard that is to hit.
Full count on Lovich. Toward the gap, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Culbertson rounding third. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw. It's way offline. And Lovich is going to trek to third base, and he pumps his arms and yells into that Missouri dugout as the Tigers are now within a run.
Beautiful swing by Lovich, not trying to do too much. I mean, when a guy throws that hard, you just let his velocity do the work, and he puts it into the right center field gap. Cut off beautifully by Tears, but the relay throw by Moore offline. I thought they had a shot, and I think you did too, the way you said it, Clay.
Yeah.
Oh, rounding third. But, hey, Coach Jackson, they put pressure on him. Yeah, his casual warm-up toss was at 96.
Yeah. Brock Daniels 1 for 2 against Sechrist. Puts this one in play to the first baseman. Burke comes home. Play at the plate. Got it. Another base runner cut down in the inning for Missouri. Two down.
Coach Vitello has talked extensively in our conversation about how much better Blake Burke has gotten himself as a defender. They all know he can hit and everything. I think he might have gotten it under this tag, just the way he didn't slide, but just the way he stays up and then the foot goes underneath.
The ruling of out is confirmed. Missouri will be charged one challenge. They'll have one remaining.
Not just stands, it's confirmed. So they actually confirmed the call by Tyler Simpson.
Well, he looked like he was in probably the best position because with his angle, he could see the tag from Cal Stark. And so that was a great job. I mean, again, umpiring is so hard. You see how we try to look at these things by 6 different angles, slow motion, and it's still hard to tell. And usually they get that call right.
So now 2 outs. Daniels at first for Trevor Austin, who had an RBI single that drove in Daniels back in the first inning. He's got 30 runs batted in on the year now. #162nd career game as a Missouri Tiger for Trevor Austin. Two and 1. Sechrist goes 4 innings. Nate Snead working here in the 5th. That's off the plate, 3 and 1 as Missouri has pulled to within a run. Boy, what a feather in the cap it would be for Missouri to win game 3 here today and salvage a game in the series against the number 3 team in the country. This one is hit high. Into the corner. Dreiling has got it. And that'll do it in the 5th. But Missouri does get one back. Kerrick Jackson, first-year head coach of the Missouri Tigers. Well, the good news is you're within a run, Coach. On the bases, they're able to get you in a couple of outs, but all in all, you're in this ball game.
Yeah, again, we're just not playing clean baseball. In that situation, right before that happened, we specifically say that we're looking to bunt for a hit there, but understand that if he bunts through it, they're going to back pick. You're going to throw a back pick in that situation, so make sure that you don't get back pick and you see the ball down. And we just can't continue to do stupid stuff and put ourselves in a position to try and win ball games.
Well, been impressive by Carter Rustad. Obviously a spot start, wasn't supposed to start. Tough first inning because they jump ahead of him, but settled in really nice. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, he like you said, I think early we're not executing pitches. The 3 spots comes as a result of, again, not playing good baseball. If we just play good baseball, we work out of that maybe with maybe 1, maybe 2, but I think only 1. And so he's kind of settled in there a little bit those last couple innings and been able to put up some zeros for us.
All right, Kerrick, thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all. MIZ.
Good luck. Carter Rustad has retired 7 in a row. 9-1-2 here in the 5th inning for Tennessee. Cal Stark looks at a ball outside, 2-1. Stark flew out to left field. He is 0 for 1.
Well, Clay, you could see why players want to play for Coach Jackson. Just the demeanor that obviously he just speaks with. But, I mean, that's the same thing we saw as he was teaching in the dugout. Same type of demeanor. And so when you hear that, it's almost like he just kind of calms the situation down. And that just, to me, is a guy that's going to be successful wherever he's at.
And Kerrick made a move. He took Caden Peer out of the game. He kind of alluded to why. And now Tucker Moore is out there in center field. He may have an opportunity here. Nope, it's going to be Brock Daniels again in left to make the catch. So Stark is out, number 1 of the 5th.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, Christian Moore.
Christian Moore has had a quiet 2-hit day. Neither ball ripped. Couple of soft base hits, but he is 2 for 2. That batting average up to a team high 388 now. Coming into the weekend, Lance, the guy behind him, Blake Burke, was hitting .412. There was a pretty big gap between the two guys, at least when it came to batting average. But now Christian Moore, who's been hotter than a firecracker, has passed him up. It's become a kind of fun little rivalry between these two guys. Batting average and home runs.
Yeah, home runs. I mean, for both of them coming into this season, the career Tennessee home run mark was in sight, and obviously it was broken by Burke, and then Christian Moore has caught fire. He's since broken Blake Burke's. There, I think, 2 or 3 from each other. So, yeah, it's been a battle, but it's also like that inner competition Coach Vitello talks about. The moment they got on campus, these two guys want to win more than anybody. He goes, probably even more than the coaching staff, and the way they go about their business on the field, the way they go about their business off the field, they just push each other in every way.
Yeah, both incredibly competitive, both juniors, both going to hear their name called in the draft. Tried to hold up, couldn't do it. And that is a strikeout for Rustad.
When you look at the top 4 home run hitters in Vols history, I think number 5 is Todd Helton. But the top 4 have all played under Tony V in the last 4 or 5 years. And so that shows you the transition that Tennessee has made into what type of ball club they want to have when your top 4 guys have been in the last 4 or 5 years.
Future Hall of Famer Todd Helton. You know, and the fans, I think, enjoy it. The crowds have been record-setting over the last few years in Knoxville. And when it's a fun brand of baseball to watch, tickets are going to be hard to come by.
I agree.
What was that old saying back in the 80s and 90s? Chicks dig the long ball. I think that's still the case.
Yeah, every now and then you see on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, but the Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine commercial when McGuire's just hitting home runs. And
yes,
they're like, yeah, we could do that too. But Tennessee, too, they're showing you that it's an arms race, right? Other schools, you know, putting renovations to their stadium. Tennessee's going to be doing the same thing. And so the crowd coming out there, they're going to give the crowd what they want, a better place to watch a ball game.
10 in a row retired. Station winning last night 5-2. They're going to play a doubleheader there today. Tell you what, Jim Schlossnagle has done a nice job since coming over from TCU. We knew he would. And, you know, this is a team that could win a national championship. It is deep. It's got great pitching. It's got power. They can run. A&M special.
I agree. And when you say deep, the lineup, to me, if anybody is arguably a better lineup, it is A&M over Tennessee. And just because of the same thing, they have star power at the top of their lineup. The freshman leading, Grahovic, is leading off, and then you have Lavalette, Montgomery. I mean, those are probably top 20 picks 3 straight years in the draft. But talking to Coach Schlossnagle, he said this is probably the best team he's ever coached. And you're talking about a coach that's been to Omaha with TCU as a head coach, been to Omaha with Tulane as an assistant coach, so had some ball clubs, coached big league guys. And for him to say that about his team now, because, yeah, the lineup's good, but they have enough pitching. You know, it might not be as good of Arkansas pitching, you know, top to bottom, but they have enough. And with the lineup, it's kind of the same thing like Tennessee has. The lineup is so good, you can get away with not having quite as quality a pitching staff.
Nate Snead on the mound. Mateo Cerna at the plate. 2-2 count. And another foul ball. Braden Montgomery for Texas A&M. And he's closing in on 70 runs batted in. As we continue our look at that field of 64 and the top 16 national seeds, 9-16 looks this way. One more SEC team in there. South Carolina, and then Oklahoma next year. They'll be an SEC team. I mean, this league, we say it every year. I mean, you got to be tough to play in this conference. The SEC, year in and year out, is dominant. Just missed. And Cerna draws a leadoff walk to start the 6th.
That's the way last inning started. They got a couple leadoff walks last inning. They were able to turn it into 1 run. Now, you know, you're taught leadoff walks are going to score 80% of the time. Ball up in the zone. I think Cal Stark really thought he had it. And the way he framed it, he thought he was going to get that call. But the frustration there, not getting it, and knowing how important that leadoff walk can be.
Matt Garcia now, the second baseman, 0 for 2. Struck out against Sechrist, who was taken out quickly after walking the first 2 hitters in the 5th. And now a time called. Stark is walking over to the Tennessee dugout. He wants a new glove. He popped a lace. I mean, the kid throws 100. It's pretty easy to understand that that's what might have happened. Good bunt. Nice tag, too, by Blake Burke. But Cerna goes to second as Garcia gets it done, and nearly got a board. Burke had to make a quick tag to make sure he got the out.
Yeah, it really did. The ball's bunted just a tad bit too hard. If he bunts it a little soft again, does the job, gets it right. But if it's a little, Cal Stark saying, "Now you got my other one fixed. I'd rather that other one." But
Boy, that was some players,
yeah, we always want to make that play. But sometimes you kind of have to let it come to you a little bit. Don't try to get too aggressive and get out of your spot.
Well, Danny Corona, 2 hits that have gone over the fence this week. He had no home runs when the week started. We were talking to the Missouri coaching staff, and they think he's just been pressing too much in his draft year. Comebacker over the mound, and that's going to be a tough play. No play. Trying to score. Here comes Cerna, and he's out by a mile. 4 runners. He loses a close one here. It's going to be because of that. I mean, they have run into 4 outs on the bases. Another one here in the 6th inning. As Thomas Curry takes a breaking ball strike. Curry 0 for 2. Breaking ball outside. We've seen no letdown from this Tennessee team coming off that terrific series win at Kentucky last week. They've played well here throughout the weekend. The last 2 games have been close with Missouri, but pretty good shape here to get a series sweep. Three and 1. We've seen 3 walks thrown by Tennessee pitching here in the last 2 innings. Combs sets the 3-1 and lost him. Curry walks. This cannot be making Tony Vitello happy.
I think that's why he got Snead as fast as he did, because Missouri was getting the bat to the ball. He was pitching behind in the count, and so he kind of had enough. It was like trying to switch to a new arm. But again, the amount of guys on base for Missouri, you hate to play the what could have been game, but man. But you got to get the hit when it matters. You got to get that big hit, runners in scoring position. They're 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position, but one right here would surely help give you a little confidence.
First at bat for Tucker Moore. The freshman came in for Caden Peer after Peer's base running mistake. Strike 2. Tucker Moore, a switch hitter, catcher, outfielder, redshirted last year. The 0-2 looks at strike 3.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to Rustad. The reason they're in this game is because of his last 4 innings, and that's a good way to move on and finish. The 5th-year senior able to kind of flip the page, but he hands the ball off to Mayer. And again, your job, you got to keep the team here. Give your team a chance to win. Mayer 1-5 this year. Tough on the record, but still, hits per innings, it's good. 45 strikeouts per inning. 45 strikeouts in his 40 innings. And the fastball, he's got a 5-pitch mix and good feel for all 5 pitches, all above average. I really like the way Rustad pitched in. I think that's what basically allowed him to continue to stay out there, because he's throwing the ball, the fastball in, and he tied up. I remember the last one, actually, one of the last outs was to Christian Moore, the strikeout, tied him up on that fastball in. It's amazing how many guys just won't pitch in when that is so necessary to do.
Mayer has to face Amick to start his day. This is down here. He's behind in the count, 3-1 to Amick, who had a great game on Thursday. Couple of homers, 4 runs batted in, was 2 for 4 last night. Hitless so far this afternoon. Down the middle, in on the hands. Be a tough play for the second baseman, Garcia. But he got it done. How about Garcia ranging to his left? You know, we've talked a little bit about, you know, the youthful mistakes we have seen from this Missouri team this weekend, but you can see the talent out on the field. There's a lot of young talent for Missouri.
Yeah, there really is. And again, that's a nice play by Garcia, just going to the right because they had to shift on a little bit, and he does a nice job of waiting patiently and letting the first baseman Corona get there before throwing it where he's not looking.
So 4-3 put out, and here comes Kavares Tears. Tears 1 for 2 with a run batted in. Entered the series with homers in 3 straight games. Has not left the yard in this weekend set. Georgia and Texas A&M are now underway in College Station. It's going to be a long day deep in the heart of Texas as they're going to play 2 games as they're trying to avoid that rain that's supposed to roll in sometime tonight. It's going to plague tomorrow. th appearance for Bryce Mayer. Had a medical red shirt last season, so he didn't play at all last year. 2-2 pitch. Got it. Good heat. Tears goes down. 2 away.
Now batting the left fielder, number 8, Dylan Riley.
A nice job of just, you see Cerna's glove up at the top of the zone, wants it above the belt, perfectly placed. A lot of times young guys will throw that ball too high and it becomes an uncompetitive pitch, and you know you're never going to swing at that, but that was placed perfectly and he gets the swing and miss for the big strikeout.
Popped up by Dylan Dreiling behind home plate. Cerna is going to watch it go over the screen. Dylan Dreiling, a sophomore out of Hays, Kansas for Tennessee. Another draft eligible player. He's just a sophomore, but he's draft eligible. A lot of runs batted in, a lot of extra base hits for this guy. Of his 42 hits this year, 28 are extra base hits. Behind in the count here, 0-2. He has already struck out twice today.
Yeah, he's looked off, especially those 2 strikeouts, but then you could tell in the first swing, the changeup fooled him. He slows the bat down, and then he's guessing a little bit, takes a fastball into third.
He was their best pinch hitter last year as a true freshman. Only started about a third of their games, as you can see. Now an everyday player as a sophomore, and it's been good. Breaking ball just missed. Boy, I thought that hit the outside corner.
Yeah, nice backdoor breaking ball. Talked about it in the scouting report, says he's got a good feel for all his pitches, and he's shown the fastball already, the changeup, and now's a backdoor breaking ball right where he wanted it to be.
See if this is playable for Austin. No. 7 Central right here on the SEC Network. That's off the plate, so now the count's even at 2 to Dylan Dreiling. With 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Tennessee hanging on to a 1-run lead after winning the first 2 games of the series against Missouri. That one's hit well. At least I thought it was. Didn't carry at all. And it's caught by Jackson.
Right there, I think that wasn't really a base running error. That was more, I guess, a coaching error because they thought the ball was going to be in center field. But the other one's the caught stealing on not a good jump. Then you have the back pick that Coach Jackson talked about in our interview, where he really, when you're bunting for that hit, you really are not trying to take that aggressive secondary. You want to see the ball down. But yeah, those are mistakes that happen, and like he says, they're not playing good baseball. Even in the first inning on defense, they weren't playing good baseball, and that's why they fell behind early. And yeah, it's one of those where if you happen to stay in this same score, you start to second guess a lot of decisions.
Aaron Combs came in last inning on the mound for Tennessee. Got the final out of the 6th. Going to work here in the 7th. Culbertson, Lovich, and the top of the order, Daniels. Culbertson has been on twice with walks. Xander Sechrist lost him twice. The second time he walked, Tony Vitello got out to the mound so fast, he was a blur. Yeah, Sechrist was done. Stays high. Full count.
He's done a good job of laying off some close pitches. A couple of the first one against Sechrist was really close, and then same thing with Snead, and then right there that ball's up in the zone, but still a lot of guys will go out there and swing, but showing some good plate discipline.
Charge to center. This could be a tough play, but Ensley covers ground quickly to get there and makes it look easy. So 1 out, and that'll bring up Jackson Lovich. Missouri still just with 5 hits. They've had a lot of base runners because of the walks, but haven't been able to string hits together. Lovich did have the RBI double his last time around. He's 1 for 2. Breaking ball strike.
Yeah, right before that double. That's the one that kind of stings the most, is when you had the guy on the back pick after the bunt through, because then the next, that same at bat, Lovich gets that big double, which would have scored both of them.
Billy Amick, the Clemson transfer, not in time. Lovich legs it out.
Just looked like he nonchalants the ball a couple steps, maybe one extra step, but got to give a lot of credit to Lovich for hustling out of the box, and there's no argument there. I watched Blake Burke at the end of the play. He looked in the dugout and said he's safe. Might want to think about Burke maybe being on the front part of the bag. I don't know if that would have helped out, but again, great hustle by Lovich.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Amick just, I think, thought he had more time. Lovich in the 9-hole, big guy, power hitter. Maybe he didn't think he moved that well.
No, I agree, because, it looked like he just took that extra little step and tried to make a little bit more of a throw instead of just taking the ball, getting rid of it quicker.
And now the top of the order, Missouri trying to make him pay for what isn't a fielding error, but certainly a mistake. Not get it over there quicker. Daniels a single in 3 trips.
Toughest part of that as a pitcher is you go, I just made a great pitch, and that's called the single, and it's just a routine ground ball to third base. So mentality-wise, you're a little frustrated because that goes down as a hit, and so you got to be able to keep keep your mindset in this game and to keep attacking the hitters and not let that affect you.
When that happened to you when you were pitching in college and in the big leagues, did you confront the player about it? Swung on and missed, got him. Daniels goes down. That's a big strikeout for Combs.
That's one more K.
Huge strikeout. Gets into chase, out of the zone. Goes with the breaking ball, the big swing and miss breaking ball. And see it, a lot of drop. Goes from the belt buckle to the shoe tops. But no, Clay, and that's something that's not like Billy Amick was trying to do that. So no, you don't confront them. It's just one of those things where it is what it is. You can control what you can control, and once that ball leaves your hand, you can't control the rest.
Trevor Austin, first pitch, lofts it behind home plate. Stark with the mask off, doesn't have a chance. I got to imagine, though, there were times you bit your tongue.
I was going to say, well, maybe
Get rid of
you
it.
want to say some things, but I mean, there's the moment you open your mouth, there's a lot of they can come back to you too, especially after you walk a couple hitters. Now, there's some in the middle of the game, things do happen, and I was waiting for that a fake by Blake Burke, because when they do a pick, Missouri's runners get to their lead really fast. But they do a nice job of waiting until he throws it. But the moment he releases it, they take their quick lead. And Burke, I was thinking he was going to fake it. He just did right there.
Breaking ball there on the 0-1 pitch. Austin now behind in the count 0-2. Now Tennessee one pitch away from getting out of this, and that mistake by Amick not mattering at all. Here's the other thing. Billy Amick, how many runs has he driven in the last couple of days? He has certainly helped Tennessee pitching with his offense. Back to Combs. No harm, no foul. Lovich is stranded. Missouri is done in the 7th. Stretch time in Knoxville. Tennessee clinging to a 1-run lead. 2 hits since then, and none since the end of the 2nd inning. They've had 10 batters come to the plate in a row here without doing anything.
Yeah, very rare, and especially you look at the walks. Tennessee's lineup has no walks. That doesn't happen very much. So you've got to give a lot of credit to Carter Rustad and Bryce Mayer coming in here, just continue to attack the strike zone and pitching in the zone and letting the Tennessee hitters get themselves out.
Long run for Lovich, but he retires Dean Curley. There's number 11 straight.
Now batting the center fielder,
Tennessee offense.
Hunter Ensley.
They had 4 hits, 3 runs right away in the first. Had 2 base hits in the 2nd inning, didn't score. And they have not had a hit since the start of the 3rd.
Early on, after those 6 hits early, it seemed like Carter Rustad, who was making that spot start, wasn't going to be out there very long, but he did a nice job of just really mentally staying in there, doing some adjustments, changing a little way he was pitching. I started thinking he started moving inside with the fastball and the cutter inside, and that really helped him out, stick in through 5 innings.
I misspoke. It's actually 14 in a row retired. (2-0) to Ensley. 3-0. And maybe that's what Tennessee needs here. Just somebody to get on, even if it's not a base hit, just kind of change the feel of this game for this offense. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. I mean, we saw last night Tennessee kind of got into a funk. They had just 1 hit through the first 3 innings. And, scrape together enough runs to win the game, as it's a walk to Ensley.
Now batting the designated
Let's see if that sparks Tennessee. Man on with 1 out for Chapman.
Just start to second guess a little bit of that pitch selection. You go 3-0 fastball and then 3-1 breaking ball when you're not wanting to put that guy on base.
Chapman 1 for 2. Nice pick by Cerna. Throw to first, not in time.
Nope.
I like Cerna. He's a good little player. Young.
We're watching 2 good catchers back there, especially the way they receive the ball.
Chapman, a sophomore out of Parker, Colorado. Tennessee looking for some breathing room here in the 7th inning. Just a one-run lead. That's this pesky Missouri team, who got a great start from Carter Rustad. Left-hander filling in for Javen Pimentel. Pimentel was the expected starter, but woke up this morning sick. 2-1 misses down, so now a 3-ball count again for Mayer. With Cal Stark, a dangerous 9-hole hitter on deck. Full count. Think about last week where Tennessee scored 25 runs, had 15 extra base hits, and 10 home runs. They had a big game on Thursday. The last 2 games, though, runs have been tough to come by. And it's ball 4. Now 2 on, 1 out, and Stark will get a chance to do some
or less, which is unbelievable when you think about it. So, but yeah, it's production all the way up and down throughout the entire lineup.
1 out, 2 on. First pitch to Stark is below the knees. I mean, this is a real chance for Tennessee to deliver a gut punch to Missouri, who has hung around all day.
Yeah, this is the pitch. A 1-0 as a hitter. I am coming out of my shoes thinking a fastball's coming.
Well, instead he flashes bunt.
Are they going to bunt? Hey, got to work in the black, work the outer thirds. That way, if you miss a little bit over the plate instead of missing off the plate.
And it's 3-0 with the top of the order and Christian Moore on deck. Boy, Tennessee, they just appear to be ripe here. They haven't had a hit since the 2nd inning. There's a strike buried at the knees, 3-1. Knoxville native Cal Stark awaits the 3-1 in on the hands, got a piece of it to foul it off.
Yeah, really good pitch, not where he wanted to. He's trying to go away, but the ball runs in a little bit. And you mentioned in on the hands, and that's where Carter Rustad had a lot of success. And so that might be just the ticket when you're talking about a power hitting lineup. A lot of the guys want to get those arms extended, and so the only way to do that is to keep the ball inside and tie the hands up.
Critical point in this ball game. Again, the 3-2 to start. Hit him. Bases loaded. And we'll see if Kerrick Jackson comes out to get Mayer.
He's trying to go away. That's the last 3 pitches. They tried to go away, and they're all going in, and that's the first sign that usually a pitcher's falling off the or spinning off the mound with the front side. Because you can see Cerna's glove was sitting for that pitch down and away, and he reaches back over the plate.
Christian Moore, the National Player of the Week, has a chance to set a record for Tennessee baseball. They've got 10 grand slams on the year. Big cut, strike 1. He's got 2 hits in this ball game. Nothing in 2. Tight breaking ball there.
Yeah, crowd didn't like it, but that was a very nice breaking ball. Maybe one of the better breaking balls we've seen all night. Down in the strike zone, perfectly placed.
Struck him out on 4 pitches. Bryce Mayer. That was impressive against Tennessee's all-time home run king. Blows it right by.
I like the pitch selection, going back to the fastball after a beautiful breaking ball. Most guys are going to stick with the breaking ball, and that's probably what Christian Moore's thinking. Hey, they're going to try to get me out with the breaking ball, but showing you enough velocity. Out of third, blows it right by him.
Mayer can't rest on his laurels because now here's Blake Burke. And Bender down in the turf. Burke, a single and a run scored in the first, wrapped into a double play to end the second, and grounded out to short in the fifth. His 31-game hitting streak ended on Thursday night. Second time this year that Burke has come to the plate with the bases loaded. First time, hit a grand slam. Hensley at third, Chapman at second, Stark over at first for Tennessee. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-1 to Blake Burke. Wrapped on the ground, gobbled up over there by Trevor Austin at third. And
Team player on the pitching staff and getting good results at it.
Yeah, Connell went an inning and a third last night. No runs, no hits, struck out 1. 3, 4, and 5 due up here in the 8th for Missouri. Cerna, Garcia, and Corona. Cerna 0 for 2 with a walk. Backdoor breaking ball starts the at-bat, strike 1. Cerna has started all 3 games of this series. Ground ball to short, deep short, backhanded by Curley. Throw a little offline. Burke makes the catch. There's 1 down.
You know, Clay, you mentioned the outing or just the last inning for Mayer. You know, those two walks, the hit batter, and Coach Jackson just showing the confidence. And you know, that's a gut decision, but sticking with Mayer. Those are the confidence-building outings, though, when the coach has that confidence in you, keeps you out there. You go out there and you show yourself that, hey, even in the toughest situations with quote-unquote 2 of the toughest hitters in the country coming back up, and you do what you do, get out of that jam. Those are those experiences that when you're in another spot, the same type of thing, that you can do that, you get out of that. And this is where you're at. You have a guy that's always in the coaching, you know, moments, because everything when it comes to baseball is a teaching moment, and you can overcoach, you can overteach, but when they're young, you just can't assume that they know what they should know, and so you have to go out there and teach it, and I like the way Coach Jackson does it.
This is hit on the screws by Garcia into right field for a base hit. So again, is hitting Tennessee 7-6. Danny Corona getting more and more confident every at bat. He's got 2 hits. And he's got a hit in every game of this series. Had a home run Thursday, his 2nd of the year. Coming out of a slump. Connell's pitch, that's high. That is a strike. 1-2. This Tennessee bullpen this weekend, 8 innings, no runs allowed, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts. Cued. Tough play and no play for Curley. I mean, that was right off the end of the bat to deep short. Not a lot of speed on that ball. And even on the turf, didn't get to Curley in time to have a play. So now 2 on and 1 out.
Now batting, the designated hitter, number 17, Thomas Curry.
Second infield single for Corona. First 3-hit game of the year for Danny Corona. Here comes Thomas Curry, who has been quiet at the plate today. The DH, who's got power. He's got 4 home runs on the year. Could change this game with one big swing. We talked about the Tennessee bullpen, how good it has been. Trying to keep it going here. They haven't allowed a run all weekend. Now, of course, A.J. Kazi, not a prototypical bullpen arm on Thursday night as they used an opener. But still, I mean, it's been some shutdown work from the Tennessee pitching staff. The 0-2 to Curry. Ground ball. They're going to go to the force at third and get the runner. Snap decision by Curley. Decides not to attempt a double play turn at second. Instead gets the lead runner 2 down.
Yeah, I think this is such a smart play by Curley, the freshman, because the ball, he's having to come get it. He's going that way. And yes, I think it's a kind of a riskier play if you think go to second base. So why not get the easy play, the lead runner? And we're talking about the bullpen. That's the part where Coach Vitello talked about going, hey, if this starts to come around like it has been as of recent, then they start to feel like they're a lot more of a complete team because they've been getting good starting pitching. And if they get the guys out of the bullpen to continue to attack the zone and compete like they have the last 2 or 3 weekends, this can be a special year. And like it has already been, it has been special, but they can be back in Omaha with a really solid bullpen because the lineup is as good as it can be, and they have enough starting pitching. So a lot of it does stem on that bullpen.
Two strikes to Moore. Tucker Moore came in to play center field for Caden Peer. He struck out looking against Aaron Combs to end the 6th. And now Connell wants to get him here to end the 8th. Called strike 3.
Might have been when you're out hitting Tennessee. You've had so many more walks than they have, so more base runners, and just haven't been able to get the big hit. But still, they're in the ball game. It's a 1-run game, and Bryce Mayer, his job, keep it a 1-run game.
Amick starts the 8th. 3, 4, and 5 for Tennessee. Volunteers left the bases loaded against Mayer in the 7th inning after Mayer walked 2 and then hit a batter. Billy is 0 for 3. But he's got 5 hits in the series, including a couple of homers on Thursday night. I mean, even if he's hitless today, he's got 8 hits on the week with 11 RBIs. It's going to put him in contention for the SEC Player of the Week, I would think.
Yeah, I would think it'd do the same thing. Big hit here, especially a home run here, I would almost cement that as his award for the week. But who knows? Just a lot of special players in this league each and every week, putting up amazing numbers.
He hit .413 with 13 homers and 63 runs batted in last year at Clemson, and Tennessee's able to bring him to Knoxville out of the transfer portal. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Billy Barrels, as he's called. Ground ball to short. Freshman Culbertson. 1 down. Looking ahead
Now batting
to the Missouri ninth. It's going to be Culbertson to lead it off. And then Lovich and Daniels, 8, 9, and 1. Tennessee would love to have an insurance runner 2 before the 9th inning. Kavaris Tears is 1 for 3. And an RBI single in the 3-run first. The only runs for Tennessee today. Arkansas and Florida in the 5th inning. That is tied at 1. Florida trying to even that series against number 2 Arkansas. Meanwhile, Georgia got 9 runs in the 1st inning, Lance Cormier. Texas A&M has come back in the bottom of the 1st with a couple of their own, but how about the start for the Georgia Bulldogs in College Station, the first of 2 games? Nobody there at third base. The shift was on for Tears, and he makes him pay. And he's going to have a sliding double with 1 out.
That's just a good piece of hitting. Just kind of hits it out of the catcher's mitt and again hustling out of the box. When you know it's that far over there, sees double and just uses that turf. Nice slide right there by Tears. Getting into scoring position.
He's a shift killer. I know what the average folks out there watching are thinking. You know, why didn't players just do that every time the shift is on? Just shoot it the other way. What's easier said than done?
Yeah, that was so easy. Just swing later, right? That's all you have to do. But yeah, you mentioned how like they're already in the doubleheader for A&M and Georgia, have 18 innings of baseball, and you give up 9 in the 1st. And oh, by the way, yes, Charlie Condon did hit a home run. He did hit number 28, so he's 5 away from the BB Core highest single season to 33. But man, that's a long day ahead of the pitching staff.
Yeah, a long day for that A&M bullpen, you would think. Swung on and missed for Dreiling. I think you mentioned it in his last at bat, Lance. Dreiling just has looked a little bit out of sorts today. A couple of strikeouts. Mayer sets the 1-2 pitch. A piece of it.
A lot of times good pitching can put you in one of those situations where it seems like every time you're up at the plate, it's 0-2-1-2 when you're watching your guys not 0-2-1-2, and then you just get down on yourself after a couple at bats. And yeah, just the confidence that it takes to hit is so much, and when you don't have that confidence, it's really tough to go up there in the box and put productive results out there.
Vols would love to get Tears in and make this a 2-run game. 4 Missouri hits in the 9th. Tennessee trying to get win number 37 on the year, and they're 15th in league play. Came into the day a game and a half behind Kentucky in the SEC East. Kentucky will play game 2 at South Carolina later tonight after losing game 1 to the Gamecocks. Payoff pitch, hit in the air, left field. Coming over toward the line is Daniels. He's got a beat on it, makes the grab. And there are 2 outs.
Now batting the shortstop, number 23, Dean Curley.
Dean Curley will try to get the insurance run home. Curley had a good start to his day, an RBI single. In fact, a 2-run single in the 1st. The 1-0 to Curley. Breaking ball that time, and that misses. 2-0. Curley has 31 runs batted in. Freshman. That was a strike.
Yes, as a pitcher and a hitter, I'd rather the first one be the strike. Right?
Yeah.
The first one looked like it was in the zone, the fastball probably at the bottom of the zone, but that is a breaking ball, looked even lower than the fastball.
Fastball down the middle at 93. Count is even now at 2. Dean Curley, starting shortstop in his rookie year in the SEC. I mean, it's a lot to ask for a young player, and he's done a nice job trying to deliver here late in this ballgame. Mayer's offering inside, pulled to the third baseman Austin. Last chance, or game will follow us. Swung on and missed as Kirby Connell will try to lock this one down. Culbertson 0 for 1 with a couple of walks and a run scored. Lance, what's the approach here for Missouri, especially at this part of the order?
It's anything you can do to get on base. And again, Culbertson's hitting .395 in the leadoff spot, leading off an inning.
Is this going to stay in play for Amick? Yes! Culbertson was just hoping that had enough juice to get out of play. And instead, it's out number 1.
Yeah, I thought it would. Tennessee has very little foul territory. Again, when the ball flies like that and you have little foul territory, it really makes it a tough place to pitch. But I've seen so many balls off the bat thinking, all right, that's going to stay in. Nope, it's in the stands. And like you said, Culbertson was trying to get that ball into his dugout and into the stands to give him a second shot.
So here's Jackson Lovich. A couple of hits today, including an RBI double. First pitch swinging. Backing off the center fielder Ensley. He's got it.
Now batting the left fielder, number 5, Brock Daniels.
Connell trying to pick up his 3rd save of the year. The win would go to Snead. It will be his 7th. They need to get Brock Daniels first. Now time called. Daniels is going to be called over. Carrick Jackson wants to have a word with his leadoff hitter.
I also think it's just a way to kind of interrupt the rhythm of Kirby Connell. He just seemed like he's one of those get to the rubber, get on there, get your pitch, and make the pitch. He's been kind of locked in. So any way that you can do to kind of disrupt his rhythm could help you out, get on base, because you got your best hitter, Trevor Austin, on deck.
Yeah.
And if the guy gets on, he's got a shot to take the lead with one swing of the bat.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want to get Austin to the plate. That's outside, a ball and a strike. Tennessee trying to pick up its 30th win at home this year against 2 losses. Crowd on its feet. Late swing. 2-2.
Frustration from Brock Daniels, knowing he just swung at ball 3, but it's so tough that lefty sliders coming from all the way kind of behind your shoulder and across the plate. Look for another one.
Same pitch, got it. That's a sweep. Tennessee wins all 3.